Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Not Another Crime Podcast.
I'm Georgia Love.
I'm Sammy Peterson.
I'm a journalist.
I am not. And I'll tell you what, we're joined by someone by the name of Wil Patterson. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
You guys know Wil Patterson from being a guest on our podcast before.
Two times.
Twice, if you will.
Am I a
times a lady.
three-timer?
Yeah, you are.
Three times a lady. Yeah, I am. That's me.
That's you.
I was going to say third time's a charm, but I like that better.
Three times a lady.
Three times a lady. Let's go, girls.
But we're not calling you. Let's go,
wrong
girls.
podcast.
Wrong podcast. But we're not calling you Wil Patterson anymore. You've decided.
No,
from now
I
on.
decided I'd come out.
Yeah,
on
it's
your
time.
podcast.
It's time.
So Wil Patterson is...
You've lied to us, is what you're saying.
I've lied to you the whole time.
See, third time's a charm. I
That's
told
right.
you.
Yeah.
Finally, some truth from you.
Finally, that's a
About
crime
time.
podcast. All these things that I did as Wil Patterson. No.
Yeah. He never went to prison, number one.
Number one. So Wil Patterson is the name that I used to write my book, Mr.
pseudonym.
Ordinary Goes to Dale. It's my pseudonym, but my real name is Scott. So I thought I would come, and Christina's real name's not Christina, it's Julia.
Oh, wow.
So we're just a very ordinary little lovely couple. And like when I wrote the book, it was very important to keep my life a little bit separate from the book. I just started a new career. My son was at an age where it wasn't really, his story wasn't my story to tell, so I needed to keep it a bit separate. So Wil Patterson was a good pen name, and it will probably continue to be my pen name.
Yeah.
But I thought it might be easier if we didn't all have to remember who everybody was.
Well, I will confess that I did cut out quite a few times when I did call you Scott in the last couple of episodes. Because at some point I go, go on, you Scott. And I was like, fuck. And then every time.
And I found myself just too scared to say your name at all.
My name at all.
I was
He said, "G'day,
oh,
mate."
God, now I can't remember which one's the real one. Calling you Wil for so long. So you finally trust us after two
episodes.
times
Yeah, absolutely.
of being able to use your name, Scott.
That's right. And I thought if I came back and, was myself, then we could do a whole new fun story.
I love that. Our listeners, as you know we have, but I want to tell you as well, our listeners have just absolutely loved you and the stories that you've brought. One, of course, which is your own story, but then last time when you brought us a crime story as well, our listeners have just love you as much as we do.
Awesome.
So we are so excited to have you back again.
Absolutely. The story of Raina, which we'll link below as well in your original one.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Good. How have you been?
Yeah, good.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Scott.
Third time, and now he's
nice to meet you.
interviewing us.
Scott,
Nice to
I'm
meet you,
interviewing
Scott.
You. Yeah.
And we're in a different place this time. We're at Sammy's new house, so we've got a different setup.
And I also didn't give Scott the address. I said, I'm about 200 metres down the road. He go, why are you being so cagey?
You'll find it.
In which
About 200 metres
direction?
down the road. Yeah, just tell me the direction then, I guess.
You actually did.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It was like when I did a podcast where I told people, let's record at lunchtime.
Oh my God.
And they were like, both rocked up at different times because lunchtime isn't definitive.
But how did no one confirm? How did
No one confirmed. It was like one person rocked up at 12 that I did. Another person rocked up at 1.
Yeah, and if it was Julia, she would have rocked up at 3 because
3, right,
that's
really?
when Central Americans start thinking about lunch.
That makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah.
I
You're more
slept
of an
in
afternoon lunch person.
on the weekends because during the week I start work at Sparrow's Fart, working in breakfast radio. So on the weekend, my body is like, right, she's letting us sleep.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it. So I will sleep, or if I don't set an alarm, I will wake up at 3 p.m. Or I think, I don't know because I have to set an alarm. So I wake up so late on the weekends. I go, all right, I better start thinking about breakfast, and it's midday.
Yeah.
Well, we also gave Scott the time today of recording at Sparrow's Fart.
Yes.
Come around Sparrow's Fart, and my address is about 200 metres from where I was.
Yeah, it's fine.
I
We'll work
often
it out.
hear myself and I go, I am an old woman. Like I'm not. I don't
You're
think
not.
I,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't
I'll
think
say
I
that.
am, but
You're
I
not.
say old lady sayings like that I forget are old lady sayings until you point them out to
Yeah,
me. Like
I love to just pull her up
Sparrow's
on everything she says. That's not what you said. Yeah.
The funniest, being an Australian married to a person from El Salvador is hilarious because she cops Australianisms from me all the time.
And it's only when they're pointed out to you, you realise that's a weird thing to
Yeah,
say.
like, let's go and have a squiz at that. And she's like, I think I know what that means, but why does it sound so wet?
You're having a go. You're having a go at. You're not having a go at.
wet.
You're having a go at Christian, not Julia. That's
Yeah, it was Christina.
Yeah, Christina,
Yeah. Julia's great.
Never have a
saying.
go at Julia.
We're all nervously glancing over there because she is in the room.
Oh yeah, I thought about that on the camera. She's like, why do they keep looking off to the side?
Yeah.
The spirit
Just
of
glaring at
Christina
you.
is looking over us.
It's so funny.
My son will say to you that if you say to him, what's the scariest thing that Julia can say to you? He said, it's the word continue. Like she just looks at you and goes, Continue.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh my
I
God,
love that.
terrifying.
It's terrifying.
I have a friend that, because he never stops talking, we make him say over at the end of sentences. Like he's on a walkie-talkie. Because he goes, over, thank God that's done.
That's very funny.
Let's call him over.
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 That's excellent.
Now, you have a story for us this
I
week,
have a story
Scott.
for you.
If I can call you that.
I didn't. You can, please
Call
do.
me that, please.
And I did my homework again, so I've written.
And you got a clipboard.
God,
Jesus
My
Christ.
clipboard's back. The return of the
obsessed with
clipboard.
you.
The return of the judgmental.
Glasses.
glance
Yeah.
over the glasses.
I do. All right. So every now and again, a criminal case occurs which impacts cases for years afterwards. The most well-known example of this is the 1932 case of Donahue versus Stevenson, which is called the snail in the bottle case.
Oh, yep.
You know about
Yeah,
that? There
yes.
you go. Awesome.
I know about a snail in the bottle, if that's relevant.
This established.
snail.
Used to capture them.
Heard of snails, I've heard of caterpillars. I know how they work.
Yeah, whatever. They're
I know how
butterfly
this
flowers.
rolls.
Centipedes.
I always thought, as a kid, that Spitfires were going to be a much bigger problem than they are.
Oh, I
in my-
know.
in my
Yeah,
kind of-
and,
same.
those little
and
black
quicksand.
caterpillars and quicksand. Yeah,
Yeah, all the
exactly.
big things.
So
and,
many
the
things.
black hole.
And
The big issue.
No, the Bermuda Triangle.
big, that
Bermuda
one.
Triangle
All
is
things
huge
that-
as well.
yeah.
Dock, drop, and roll.
In the 80s and 90s, why do we think these were going to be huge things?
Y2K, am I right?
Anyway, play
Oh
back
dear.
to the
So
snail
the snail in the bottle case, which established what we now call duty of care, by ruling that a manufacturer owes a duty of care to make sure their product is safe for an end user. In short, what happened was Mrs. May Donahue became ill after finding a decomposed snail in her ginger beer that was purchased by a friend. May sued the manufacturer, David Stevenson, and the House of Lords in England found Stevenson liable, establishing that manufacturers must take reasonable care to ensure their products are free from defects that could cause injury.
Wow.
That's why I know that case. I remember studying that in legal studies.
Oh,
at school.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the precedent for
Duty of care. Yep.
You're learned.
So today we have an opportunity.
Learned.
Learned.
It's learned.
Learned. Grammar Nazi.
The worst kind
No,
of
I'm
Nazi.
doing it in reverse though. I'm just quoting The Simpsons.
Embiggen. That's the best word from The Simpsons.
Embiggen?
If you need to embiggen something. a bit. So today we have an opportunity to explore one of those cases that impacts still resonate through time to Australian courts today.
Wow.
This case has tragic accidents, suspicious dogs, even more suspicious husbands,
Whoa.
an affair, and a conclusion which changed Australia's domestic violence laws forever.
Wow.
Today we're going to learn about the murder of Jacqueline Wilson.
This is exciting.
Is that music?
And there's a party going on upstairs.
Party upstairs. You can't hear it in the
Never-
microphones. but
I've
it's-
never heard anyone upstairs
No.
ever here before.
Yeah, they've been here for 10 minutes.
I know,
Someone's
how
got-
funny.
Someone's got
3
yeah.
p.m. on a Sunday. And someone's having a techno party upstairs.
There's someone who's
for
been
you.
in a past relationship that this
Yeah.
I'm triggered by. That
Yeah,
person
yeah.
has gone and bought
They're
themselves
drowning
some
us
DJ
out.
decks.
Yeah, exactly right.
They heard us talking and they just
That's
drowned us
right.
out.
He's in his new bachelor phase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Might actually be my ex-husband upstairs. I'm not sure.
Imagine. I'm living downstairs.
Oh, that's hilarious. So we're going to break this story up into the history, the case, and then what happened afterwards. Just to
Amazing.
help you out. Just so you can put in some ad breaks and stuff.
God, he's good.
you're good.
He's thinking about our ad breaks.
You know we don't even,
We don't
pay
even do that.
ourselves. If that's what you're looking for.
Oh, dear. Fred Grubb was born in 1908 in Deloraine, Tasmania.
Oh my God. Sorry. Off mic, we were talking about surnames and their part, who you might be linked to.
Yeah.
I dated someone with the surname Grubb from Tasmania.
Did you? Oh, my
That's
God.
why
I heard that, no, in
that's why
Tasmania,
I was
yeah.
like,
Near
I'm not going
Deloraine.
to say it. And then I saw Sammy turn and look at me. I was like, okay, I'll bring it up.
Oh, my goodness. So he was a grazier working on a parcel of land south of Launceston in a town called Evandale.
Yeah, I know it well.
There you go. He married Anna McKinnon, and in 1944 they welcomed their daughter, Jacqueline Winifred Grubb.
Don't think that's his mum's name.
Not sure. We'll check that out.
I'm very
We'll
on
do a
edge
fact
with
check
this
at the end.
story.
Hopefully not.
Geez, tense.
I couldn't find too much about Jacqueline's early life until 1965, when at the age of 21, she married 34-year-old widower Malcolm David Wilson. Okay. Malcolm Wilson was also born in Tasmania in 1931. He worked as a station manager around Tasmania and met Marlene Saville, who he married in 1953 when she was just 16 years old. Wow. There's no specific detail about why they married, but it may surprise you to know that they had a son, Rodney Wilson, in 1953, 7 months after they got married.
That's interesting timing. Because I had always believed that pregnancies in humans were 9 months, but I might be wrong.
You might be wrong.
My grandma used
I was
to
about
say
6 months early.
my grandma used to say the first one doesn't take as long.
The first one doesn't take as long.
So in 1964, tragedy struck the young Wilson family. Marlene was allegedly tending to home duties at Marchington Estate in Breadalbane, Tasmania.
Breadalbane. Sorry, Breadalbane.
Breadalbane.
So it should not be pronounced like that, but it is.
It shouldn't. We
No,
just
it's-
leave out a few letters.
It reads Breadalbane.
Breadalbane.
It's
Yeah.
Breadalbane.
Okay.
We're all learning something.
I know
today.
my Tassie listeners
It's-
would
I
have got
know.
mad at me if I didn't correct
you. That's
Sorry,
absolutely
sorry.
fine. So he was working
I'll
at
cut, you
Marching.
I'll cut your correction out.
Yeah, just so we get angry
stitch her up.
Tasmanians.
Yeah, all right, hang on. At Marchington Estate, Breadalbane,
We got
Tasmania,
it. We got it clean.
where her husband was the estate manager. Details are a little sketchy, but it is believed that she was involved in a tragic accident when a loaded gun was accidentally set off and led to her death.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Then, in November 1964, while on a family holiday in Melbourne, Rodney, their son, fell while playing, causing an intracranial hemorrhage. He never regained consciousness and died on November 29th, 1964, at age 11.
Oh,
how
God, that's
tragic.
awful.
Yeah.
That's mother and son.
Mother and son.
Oh, dear.
Unknown to the family until many years later, Michael had met a young lady named Jackie Grubb in 1964.
Your family. It could have been your family heritage.
Could have
Could have
been.
been me.
If you played things right.
If you were alive in 1964. He commenced an affair with her, and after his wife's death, he married Jackie in 1965.
Yuck, I feel a bit icky about this.
The young couple remained in Tasmania, where Malcolm worked as an estate manager and Jackie kept the home. There were happy times for the young couple, but Malcolm did have a temper. A local farmer in Tasmania who knew the couple was quoted as saying he witnessed Malcolm lose his temper often, and stated that he had seen Wilson shoot and kill dogs on 3 different occasions just because they were not obeying him.
Oh, my God.
Diggs, don't listen to this bit.
Yeah. Unknown to Jackie, Malcolm was also having an affair with a lady named Diane Morey, a 22-year-old school teacher from a town close to the estate. Ms. Morey once said that Malcolm had told her the only way he could get rid of his wife was if she left him, unless I could make it look like an accident.
Jesus Christ, this is
my
giving
God.
teacher's pet, isn't it?
Oh, it really is, yeah.
A little bit. The couple moved to Grantville in the Gippsland region of
I know
southeast
Grantville,
Victoria.
right near Phillip Island, 20 minutes from Phillip
Oh,
Island.
my God, no one cares about your connection to the places we're
Okay.
talking about in the story. So
Only yours.
It's not all about you.
It's actually called Grantville. The locals call it Grantville.
So they moved in 1967 because Malcolm had work on an estate there. Soon after they moved, Jackie gave birth to their daughter, Jennifer Louise Wilson. Again, for a time, the couple were happy, although it was not too long before the rift began to develop between them again. Again, unknown to Jackie, Malcolm continued his affair with Diane, seeing her when he travelled to Tasmania on business, and even inviting her to stay with him and Jackie in Grantville several times.
Oh.
Ew.
Ew.
In 1967, a neighbour said that he visited the couple, but on arriving heard them arguing. When questioned by the police, he admitted he had heard Jackie crying and saying, "I know you just want to kill me for my money."
Wow.
Oh, no.
Another time in 1968, a worker on the farm, Jeffrey Newitt, stated, and this is his statement, "Jacqueline, she brought lunch up to us in the car. It was only a new car, a Holden, a 1968 model, and she told me that the car belonged to her and she'd not had to have it drive. While we was having lunch on the back of a 4-wheel drive, and Jacqueline Wilson was leaning on the front mudguard of the Holden, moving her hand across the guard, and Malcolm told her not to do it. He told her 2 times, and after the second time, he told her if she did it again, he would put the boot in. She was still doing it, and he jumped off the Toyota, went and grabbed her by the arm, swung her around, kicked her in the behind, and she fell to the ground face first and rolled over on her side. Mel was close to her, and she looked up at Mel and said, I know that you want to kill me. Why don't you just get it over with?" Those were her exact words.
God. I feel like this might be foreshadowing.
Just a little bit of foreshadowing.
Also, when someone can point at a car and say the model, that is quite, like when they can give the year of the car. I always find that incredible when the people can do that.
That's
you can
you,
do that.
isn't it?
You can
literally
do that.
have cars on your shirt.
I am.
Yeah, you got cars all over your
I
shirt
know.
right
Yeah.
now.
I know.
But I'm obsessed. I could bore you to tears with why.
So you can give a year when you look at a car?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll take you downstairs. See, we'll play with my Dualis a bit later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
Or
is that
Mazda 3, see if you know what that. Years. We got cool cars.
Yeah, we got cool cars. Don't worry about us. We've got a Mazda and a Joella. Don't worry about that.
Love it. I was walking through the city with some people up in Sydney for work once, and I heard a Aston Martin coming down the street.
You heard it.
I'm like, I've got to stop and look at this Aston Martin. And the person I was with went, how do you know that's an Aston Martin? And I said, do you actually want me to answer that question?
Because I can and I will.
Because I know how boring I am.
I can do that.
Wow.
This is so fascinating that you can do that because I can do that with ice cream trucks.
There you go.
Is that funny?
That's Benny's. I know that's
going to be an ice cream truck coming. I could know the sound from anywhere.
You were absolutely the child whose parents told them that they only play music when they're out of ice cream.
Yeah, they did.
They did.
And in the US, they don't play Greensleeves in the US. They play,
Don't they?
No, they don't. They play...
Rock Lobster.
Yeah. Rock Lobster, that's the one. I can't remember what they play. It'll come to me. But I ended up explaining to these people that you could tell by the sound of the V8 because the crank shaft is slightly offset in that car, so it doesn't go boom, 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 boom. It goes boom, 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 boom. So it makes a different noise.
God.
Yeah. So that is 100% me. All right. Back to the story. After the incident with the car Duco, Malcolm was almost sweet to Jackie for a period of time.
Almost.
Back to the old Mal, Jackie told friends. They talked, he helped with the dishes, and they even returned to regular lovemaking. Then in January, Jackie confided to Malcolm that her cycle was late and she believed she was pregnant. Well, isn't that just fucking perfect, he had said when she carefully raised the subject.
Oh, my God.
Yet another bloody mouth to feed, and then he had stormed out of the room, signalling that the subject was closed.
Oh,
Jesus Christ.
Malcolm was angry for several weeks and began to pressure Jackie to make sure she had her will sorted out before the baby came. This is because Jackie had received an endowment from her parents worth $38,350, a significant amount of money in 1969, and the equivalent of about $580,000 today.
Wow.
Unknown to Jackie, in February 1969, Diane contacted Mel to tell him she had met a man and was ending their affair for good.
Because she met someone else.
Yeah.
Not because he was married.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
According to Diane, this was when Mel had said that he wanted to leave his wife, but the only way to get out of the marriage was for Jackie to leave unless he made it look like an accident. At the time, Diane had told Mel if that happened, she would never be with him because making Jackie disappear was not part of God's plan.
Affairs were? Sorry.
Yeah, no,
That's all part of God's plan. Yeah. You don't really understand God's plan if you're questioning that.
Yeah, come on. Malcolm later denied the affair and that this conversation never took place.
Surprising.
Mm-hmm. Malcolm and Jackie attended a solicitor's office on March the 1st, 1969, and she drew up a new will, leaving half of her endowment to Malcolm and the other half to their daughter Jennifer and to any other children they may have that would be paid once they turned 21 years old. That was on March the 1st. Mm-hmm. On March the 11th, 1969, Malcolm borrowed a shotgun from his neighbour Peter Lacandro with the reason that he needed to shoot some rabbits on his property.
Mm-hmm. Wife in Grantville.
Yep. That's it.
Showing some local knowledge.
A Grant file.
Grant file, sorry.
Thank you.
Oh my God, Scott, I'm so sorry.
That's so embarrassing.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Cut that out. Edit it here.
Peter took the time to explain with the newer style shotgun to Malcolm. He explained that it was the type of gun that once it was uncocked, to reload it, it would automatically return to having the safety on. Oh. And this would need to be turned off again before you could fire it. This made the gun very safe to handle, but it was something you needed to be conscious of when you were hunting.
Wow, okay. Foreshadowing. A beautiful song that you always sing.
Maybe we get merch that says that.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, with the music notes.
On the morning of March 13th, 1969, Jackie Wilson was busy getting ready to help Malcolm out on the farm. She could hear Mal whistling outside as he prepared the tractor and hay hauler.
Oh no, that's creepy.
It was going to be a long day feeding stock and checking fence lines. Mal had said he needed Jackie to drive the tractor so he could get it all done in a day. She was happy to help and happier to hear him whistling. Might be a good day after all, she thought to herself.
Oh no.
Jackie sat in the passenger seat of the tractor with an excited farm dog on her lap, while Mal drove out to the area where they would be working. When they arrived, she took the driver's seat of the tractor and drove slowly through the paddock while Mal unloaded the hay. According to Malcolm Wilson's sworn testimony, at some time while they were working, the gun, which was lying on the bales of hay, had in some manner discharged accidentally.
Oh no. Oh God.
We're stressed.
You are stressed. His theory was that the dog had jumped onto the bales of hay, got its paws caught in the trigger guard.
Oh, yeah, that happens a lot, doesn't it?
Heaps.
I'd put my gun away.
Yeah, because it
Because
Diggs
Diggs gets
doing that all the
excited.
time.
To get it.
And in struggling to remove its paw, it accidentally fired the weapon. Malcolm had turned to find Jackie slumped forward over the steering wheel, shot fatally in the back of the head.
Oh, geez, the dog's a good shot.
Yeah, that goddamn dog.
When the police arrived, they found the gun laying on the bales of hay on the trailer and pointing directly at where the back of the deceased's head would have been when she was driving the tractor. The case was initially reported in a humorous way as an accident, with Jackie's death notice in the paper on March 13th saying...
You know what paper?
Do I know what paper?
Yeah.
Probably the Examiner.
Probably the Advertiser or the Sentinel Times, because my grandfather started both of those papers on Phillip Island and South Gippsland.
It was the Sentinel Times.
Of course it was.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But it's not all about you.
I'm sorry about that.
Thank you for saying that. I didn't want to have to say it.
Pretty much a Murdoch of South Gippsland.
So her death notice started as on March 13th as the result of an accident.
Can I just say, I don't believe in luck and the opposite of luck, whatever that is. However, there are so many stories where the deaths happen on the 13th of a month.
Yes.
I've noticed it being like, oh, that was the 13th. Ooh, this is another one. Uh-oh.
That I don't know what the opposite of lucky just made me think. It's a running joke with Julia and one of her cousins and I where we're like if somebody's really kind to you and they don't just take advantage of you and steal everything from you and all that sort of stuff, can they be Ruth? Or can you only be ruthless?
Can they be rude?
Can you be just whelmed?
Can you be whelmed, right? Or can you just estimate someone?
I had an ex-boyfriend of mine.
There we go. Another one.
Oh.
Jesus Christ. I quite famously had a few. There was a show about it.
To watch it, I've never tuned in.
Diggs has just eaten something. What
He's
is
got a
that?
tomato.
Oh, it's a tomato. He's
Yeah,
allowed
he's
to eat
fine.
a tomato.
He's
Okay. Where did tomato come from? When I was announced as the
Lucky
Bachelorette,
boy.
he's just taken the tomato to his bed to eat. It's
awesome.
lovely.
Love it.
No,
Breakfast
when
in
I was
bed.
announced as the Bachelorette, this ex-boyfriend of mine called up one of the radio stations to have a bitch about me, and like the announcement of me as a Bachelorette was kind of my history, why I was there, and it was saying she's been unlucky in love, and he said mine and my friend's favourite quote of all time, because he said without any irony or realising it was wrong, she says she's unlucky in love, but she's the one that causes the unluck. So that's the opposite of luck.
I love that.
The unluck.
Yeah.
I heard someone say the other day that their face was sore from hurting instead of their face was sore from laughing.
I was writing the other day, like I've got back into getting the novel written because I've now got pressure
of course,
because people heard about it on the last podcast.
Uh-huh.
And I realised a couple of times I wrote thought in his mind or thought to him. I'm like, well,
Rather
where
than
else?
thought in his feet.
Yeah, he thought about it in his left knee. Like, take that bit out. Okay, so there was a short article in the Canberra Times on March 14th, which was titled Dog Shoots Owner. Melbourne, Thursday. A young mother of 2 children was shot dead in a freak accident on a property near Grantville, 62 miles southeast of Melbourne this afternoon. A sheepdog stepped on a shotgun and touched the trigger as he struggled to free his paw. The woman, aged 25, whose name has not been announced,
She was 25.
Wow, so young.
was struck by the blast and killed instantly. She was driving a tractor while her husband fed sheep with hay from a trailer. However, as is the case with most suspicious deaths, Jackie Wilson was taken into the care of the coroner. The coroner completed his findings on July 3rd, 69, stating that whilst it was clear that Jackie had died from the effects of a gunshot wound to the head, based on the evidence, the weapon would have had to be handled and fired by a person, and there was no conceivable way a dog could have accidentally fired the weapon.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
His name's not Sherlock, for God's sake, it's now Scott.
There's too many names. I'm confused.
Some of the anomalies the coroner pointed out were the dog would have had to switch off the safety on the gun. There was no evidence of powder burn on the dog's paws. After the shotgun had been fired, the kickback would have meant it would have fallen off the trailer.
Not just be sitting there.
And it was impossibly unlikely that it ended up neatly placed on the hay in the exact position to kill Jackie.
So it was on the. He's trying to say it was on the hay. The dog went, oop, like that, and it just sat there and everything was fine,
everything was
except
fine
for her falling forward,
dying to death. Yep.
dying to
death.
dying to death, dead.
Correct. And there was no burn marks or any other damage to the hay bales from the shotgun being fired.
Oh, right, okay.
Malcolm David Wilson was arrested and charged with the murder of his wife.
Good.
Again from the Canberra Times. A Grantville farmer, Malcolm David Wilson, 39 years old, was committed for trial today by the Wonthaggi coroner on a charge of having murdered his second wife. Mrs. Jacqueline Winifred Wilson, 25, was shot dead on March 13 at a farm her husband managed on the Bass Highway, Grantville. Police said at today's hearing that Wilson's first wife had died from a shotgun wound under circumstances somewhat similar to those of Jacqueline Wilson's death.
It was an accidental farming accident, wasn't it?
Yep. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the case. So there's a few bits in here where I'm going to just talk legal talk because it's actual quotes from that. So despite the case being somewhat circumstantial, Malcolm Wilson was convicted in the Supreme Court of Melbourne for the murder of his wife Jacqueline, and he was sentenced to death.
Oh, wow.
However, his legal team appealed the conviction. And most of the notes that I've got are from the appeal. So in February 1970, his appeal was heard. And for reference, because we'll need this later, the case is called R versus Wilson.
Okay.
So the reasons for the appeal were, number one, the Crown's case was based on circumstantial evidence. Number two, that the evidence of an adulterous affair that Mr. Wilson had was allowed into the case and it should have been excluded.
Well, sorry, yep.
Yep.
I'll let you talk, yep.
Number three, it's okay you get angry. There's a couple of spots where I was hoping you'd get angry.
Okay.
Number three, that the evidence of Malcolm's first wife also dying from an accidental gunshot wound should have been inadmissible.
Well, to be fair, I agree with that. It would be in this day and age. You're not allowed to speak about any prior.
Correct. Yep. And number four, that the threats of violence made by Malcolm Wilson to his wife should have been excluded as evidence from the case.
No, incorrect. Yep.
Incorrect. Okay. So, on some notes from the court. So, on the evidence presented of an unhappy relationship. There was evidence that from early 67 until March 68, there was a relationship was an unhappy one. Evidence was given of acts of violence by Malcolm towards the deceased and several threats uttered by him to kill her. Evidence was also given that from early 1967 until approximately 1 month before the killing, Malcolm maintained an adulterous relationship with another young woman named Diane Morley. The relationship commenced while the parties were living in Tasmania and continued after Malcolm and his wife had come to reside in Victoria. There was indeed evidence given that the girl Diane Morley had intimated to Malcolm only some 28 days before the killing that she was contemplating terminating her association with him in favour of another man. The second point is the evidence of Malcolm's death of Malcolm's first wife, that a former wife of Malcolm Wilson also died of a gunshot wound to the head in early 1964 whilst living with Malcolm in Tasmania. Specifically, the appeal related to one part of the cross-examination. So I'm just going to read this out, question and answer style. So the appellant was asked, did you regard yourself as a person who should have a special reason to be careful with guns? No. Should I have had? Yes. Yes, well, I mean, if I put a safety on a gun, I would say that gun should not fire. Okay, well, let me put it to you like this. Have you ever known of other people who have accidentally been shot by guns?
Yeah.
Or dogs.
I have heard of them, yes.
I've heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Heard of them? Yes. Is that all, is it? Yes. Haven't you ever had an accidental death in your own family by a gun discharging? Well, I don't know if it was accidental or not.
What?
What the hell?
He said that in his case.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was accidental
in his
or
trial.
not.
Yeah.
Was his lawyer going, shh, shh, shh,
We're just going to take a short recess.
Okay. Well, tell us in any event, you in your own mind might have a reason for believing you should take special care with firearms, don't you? Yes. Did you take special care on this occasion? Yes. The safety catch was on.
Okay.
So that was his,
Okay.
and his lawyer was saying that cross-examination shouldn't have been allowed.
No. It shouldn't have been handled that way
Yeah,
by
yeah,
his
yeah,
client,
yeah,
I think
that's
is what he meant.
I think that's more right, yeah. Number three was that the learned judge was in error in admitting evidence of alleged threats by the appellant to kill the deceased. The evidence in question was given by a man named Jeffrey Newitt, and we heard his description earlier about the case. The effect of his evidence in this respect is that on 3 or 4 occasions in Tasmania between February 67 and March 68, he heard the appellant issue threats to his wife to kill her. Mr. McGarvey, who was the solicitor, submitted for the appellant first that the evidence was not admissible as the threats were too remote as a point in time.
Her magistrate, I implore you. I implore you, Her Magistrate.
Wait until I tell you exactly what he said. No. He said that there was no evidence of any threats to kill after March 1968.
After?
Yeah, because she died on the 13th, and there was no threats to kill her between the 1st and the 13th of March.
Oh, I'd got over it by then.
He'd got over it.
Because I'd planned it.
Correct. He contended that each incident instanced by this impunged evidence was in the nature of an isolated utterance likely to be thrown out by a husband during the course of a matrimonial argument and just as likely to be quickly forgotten.
Oh my God.
To which we say, Georgia,
fuck off. I love that I've got myself a beautiful
catchphrase. It's so eloquent
you know
for a
what?
journalist.
That's also
fuck off.
A journalist and a lady. Yeah. It's giving Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. Have you read about that?
Oh, yeah.
Kristen Bell's got herself in quite a situation by her anniversary post to her husband, Dax Shepard, was a very, as she thought, funny thing to say, we've been married for this long and you're yet to kill me. There's many times that you've said you wanted to and have stopped yourself from doing so. So for that, I'm thankful. Ha, 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 ha. It's a funny thing to say. And everyone in the world has gone, how about we don't joke about men murdering their wives?
Yeah. How about we don't joke about that?
Yeah, it's not.
I'm sure it wasn't malicious, but how about we don't joke about that?
Yeah.
So you'll like this sentence. In rejecting the application to appeal.
Good. Thank God.
The trial judges said in part, the evidence against the applicant, although circumstantial, was strong. It included evidence of threats by him to kill his wife, and evidence by the girl with whom the applicant had maintained an adulterous relationship that he had told her that his wife would not divorce him and that he could make it look like an accident. There was also evidence that if the gun had been accidentally discharged while just lying on the hay, either by some jostling or by reason of the dog which was on the trailer, that by reason of its recoil, it could not have been found where it was after the discharge.
So saying circumstantial or not, that is specific. Like the rest of it,
super specific.
that is actual evidence.
Yep.
Yeah.
In addition, there was evidence of a very unhappy relationship between the applicant and his wife. The admissibility of part of the evidence was first debated before us. The evidence in question consisted of two utterances made by the deceased to the applicant in the course of quarrels. And this is the judge saying, it seems to me here, as so often happens, an attempt has been made to reduce the law of evidence, which rests fundamentally on the requirement of relevancy. Any jury called upon to decide whether they were convinced beyond reasonable doubt that the applicant killed his wife would require to know what the relationship between the deceased and accused was.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Were they an ordinary married couple with a good relationship despite differences, or was their relationship one of enmity and distrust? That's the judge saying why. It seems to me that nothing spoke more eloquently of the bitter relationship between them that the wife, in the course of a quarrel, should charge her husband with the desire to kill her. Malcolm David Wilson was refused the right to appeal.
Good.
And his death sentence for murdering Jackie Wilson remained as his punishment.
Wow.
I mean, in my opinion, not good, that part of it, but that's my thoughts on capital punishment. Yeah.
Well, what happened to Michael Wilson?
He died.
So we're going to go.
The end.
That's the end.
Thank you.
He died.
Thanks you all
Thanks
for
so
coming.
much for listening.
We'll be right back after this hit from Billy
Missy
Joel.
Higgins. Oh, Billy Joel.
Higgins.
So on December 19th, 1965, Ronald Ryan and Peter Walker successfully broke out of Pentridge Prison in Melbourne, Australia.
Oh.
Wow.
During the escape, prison guard George Hodgson was shot dead.
Yeah.
The men were on the run for 17 days, and after being caught, Ryan was charged and convicted for the murder, and he was sentenced to death. The gallows from the old Melbourne jail were moved to Pentridge Prison for his hanging, and they were the same gallows used to hang infamous bushranger Ned Kelly.
Yeah.
At 8 a.m, on February 3rd, 1967, Ronald Ryan was hanged at Pentridge Prison. There was major outcry to Ryan's hanging and the idea of capital punishment in Australia at all. Queensland had abolished the death penalty in 1922, Tasmania in 1968, and after serious political and public pressure, the death penalty was abolished for all crimes in Victoria in 1975.
Wow.
1975.
So
I
late,
didn't know
isn't
it was that late. That is also a massive difference. Like for a small country in terms of, like our politics and population and everything, 1922 for Queensland
Yep.
to 1975 for Victoria.
Such a huge gap.
Massive
Crazy.
gap.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And as we know, Ronald Ryan was the last person
Yes.
hanged in Australia. So Michael Wilson had avoided the death penalty by less than 6 months.
Oh, whoa.
Oh.
His execution had been planned for the second half of 1975. And the change in legislation meant his sentence was commuted to life in 1976.
Wow. Do either of you know why the time from sentencing to death to actual death was always so long? If he's already been, if his appeal application has already been denied, because you do
Why
hear
did you
that
wait
people
that
live
long?
on death row for years and years and
Yeah.
years. Why is? Does anyone know why that is?
I
Maybe
don't know.
look
I have
into
no
that.
idea. Yeah.
Maybe he ordered a last meal that was hard to get.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
of
always
course.
true.
Something like he
Yeah.
wanted McDonald's and they had to wait for McDonald's to be invented. Or
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah, something like that.
Specific chef to be
That's what
born
I'd do.
and trained.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So Michael Wilson died in a Victorian prison in 1998 and was buried in Tasmania, as were the wishes of his remaining family.
Wow.
So I promised to tell you about a case that changed Australian domestic violence law.
Yes.
In law documents, this case is referred to as Wilson v. the Queen of 1970 or the Bumpy Tractor case.
The bumpy tractor case.
So from the Australian legal website Ostley, relationship evidence in murder trials. In murder trials, evidence of the relationship between the accused and the deceased and a history of violence between them may be admissible. An excellent example of this is Wilson v. the Queen. The appellant was charged with the murder of his wife. The Crown led evidence of quarrels between Wilson and the deceased, and in particular evidence that during these quarrels, the deceased stated that she knew Wilson wanted to kill her. The fundamental rule for governing the admissibility of this evidence is that it be relevant. There were 2 occasions on which a witness spoke of a then current quarrel between the applicant and the wife. It is quite apparent that the nature of the current relationship between the applicant and the wife was relevant to the question to be decided by the jury. Evidence of a close, affectionate relationship could properly have been used by the jury to incline against the conclusion. Equally, evidence that there had been developed mutual enmity could be used to induce the conclusion that he had killed his wife and that his story of an accidental shooting lacked credibility. In 1998, Queensland were reviewing a law titled 132B, which relates to possible historic crimes or threats of domestic violence being admissible. Again, Jackie Wilson's story was cited,
Wow.
this time by the Queensland Attorney-General, saying the case of Wilson v. the Queen, and in particular the judgment of Menzies J, was an authority for the proposition that the High Court had already clearly and unequivocally held that relevant evidence of domestic violence was admissible in a proceeding. In this matter, Queensland now holds that a previous history of violence, either against a defendant or another person, is always admissible in a domestic violence case.
Good. How awful as well to think. I mean, it's a good thing that we think this now because it means it's not like this. But how awful to think that domestic violence was such a non-thing, as in speaking about it. Of course, it was a thing. Yeah, it was such a non-issue in terms of what people would consider something to bring up in a court.
Yeah.
But it was like, well, no, you can't talk about the relationship. That's private.
Yeah,
That's behind closed
yeah,
doors.
yeah.
The idea of that now that the relationship's history would not be admissible is wild,
Yeah,
which is a
yeah.
positive thing to think that now.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
far out.
Yeah.
Or to say, he said that to her 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Let's
Got
not
over
worry
that.
about it.
That's
Get
something
over it.
you just always say that to your wife. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, it's a joke.
Wilson v. the Queen has been quoted in over 300 legal cases in Australia, mostly pertaining to domestic violence and abuse cases.
Wow.
But there is one question remaining. What happened to Jackie Wilson?
Yes.
The thing I love about this story is despite her murder, Jackie Wilson's voice is still being heard in domestic violence cases today.
Yes.
Wow.
She's being cited as the reason that violent men cannot hide behind the veil of their marriages and they're being held to account for their behaviour. The sad part of Jackie's story is that she hasn't made it home to her family. Her funeral service was held by Grayton and Sons Funeral Homes in Melbourne and she was cremated at Springvale Cemetery on the 17th of March 1969. Because her husband was in prison for her murder and her daughter was under 5 years old, there was no one to collect her cremated remains.
Oh my God.
Grayton and Sons faithfully stored her ashes, and despite the ownership of the funeral home changing over the years, Jackie's ashes have remained in safe storage, perhaps waiting for a living relative to collect. Now, I know this because I have a contact in the funeral industry who initially told me the story about Jackie's ashes.
Oh, wow.
On the box, which contains her remains, there is a handwritten note that says, Mr. Wilson is serving a life prison sentence for the murder of his wife.
Oh, my God.
So in telling you guys this story, my dream is that one of your listeners knows Jennifer Wilson.
Oh.
The little girl who at 2 years old was effectively made an orphan by her father's actions.
Oh.
And that somehow we might be able to connect with Jackie's family and return her cremated remains to them.
Oh, my God, Scott.
And that's the story of the murder of Jackie Wilson, a senseless killing, an unapologetic, adulterous husband, and a case which continues to positively impact outcomes for at-risk partners to this day.
Wow.
Oh, my God, Scott, that
Thank
is
you,
amazing.
Scott.
Oh, my God. That is to have heard of... So you've heard of this story because of hearing that the ashes are unclaimed.
Correct. Yeah.
And you've gone and looked into the story.
Correct.
And you've said to us, I've got another story for you.
Yeah.
And the idea behind that is to find somebody to collect
I would
Jackie
hope so.
Wilson's remains. That is beautiful.
That's beautiful.
I could not love that more.
Yeah, you've told me about that note that a friend told you about that before, and so I knew that was, and I couldn't believe that was a story. That's amazing that you've told that.
So I've got friends who work in the funeral industry, and when they told me about it, I was like, oh wow, that's terrible. And then I looked into who she was, and then I started to read the story, and I'm like, this is actually an amazing story.
Yeah, like world
and
Australian
then you get that
law
this
changing.
is law changing. Like wow. Like,
it isn't just some unidentified person that your friends told you a story about a handwritten note.
Yeah.
Wow, how incredible! You know what I love about that too? This is such me being a nerd, a storyteller by my nature. That's why I'm in the job that I'm in. There are stories behind everything. Imagine you hear a throwaway story and you don't think about it again, or you can look into it and it's something that's changed the history of the laws in our country.
Yeah.
Oh, that's giving me goosebumps.
Yeah.
My mate who told me the story also, he did a funeral service once for a man who was the man who was the supervisor on duty on the day the Westgate Bridge collapsed.
Oh,
wow.
Like, I wish I could have gotten to talk to their family and find that story.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much, Scott, for bringing that,
Oh
and
my
also
God.
your clipboard.
And your clip. Thanks for bringing
The clipboard will be back.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. Okay, this has become my new. It's going to be my new obsession is finding someone who is related
absolutely.
to Jackie. And well, hang on, we started this story, so this is probably why you were giving me a certain look. I'm going to need to go back and look at the video when you very first brought up this story, and I went, I know someone from Tasmania with the surname Grubb. You've probably been sitting there going, okay, we might have an in here. Oh my God, this is going to be my new legacy.
Yeah,
We're going to
absolutely.
find.
Let me tell you how far down the rabbit hole I went. From public record, have a copy of Jackie's will.
Wow.
So the will that she changed on the 1st of March.
Oh, wow.
From, what's that? Ancestry.com.
Oh, yeah.
So it came off Ancestry.com. So I've got a copy of her will. And I have been able to get in contact with the legal firm in Tasmania who prosecuted Michael initially.
Oh, wow.
And the grandfather who used to run the firm had talked to the kids through the generations about this case. So he is also on the case.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's incredible. Oh
it would be amazing to be able to
Absolutely.
to see
Absolutely.
because that poor kid probably went in foster care, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Or something.
And may not know the lineage. You know, you don't
what
know.
happened?
with-
She probably just
yes.
doesn't know what happened.
Yes. Wow. Oh my God. Okay.
We're going to change the world.
I can't
change the
concentrate
world.
on anything else until we've
Thank you so much, Scott, for joining us. And the book is still in the works.
The new book
New
is still in the
book.
works.
Yep,
absolutely.
And if you want to read Scott's first book, don't
Mr. Ordinary
search
Goes to Jail.
the name
Yeah.
Scott
Scott Williams.
Patterson.
No.
Won't happen.
Wil Patterson.
Will, because my surname's Williams, so not very original, right? Like Christina's name, because her middle name is actually Christina.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Very
And
easy to
Patterson's
debunk a lot
Banjo
of this.
Patterson.
There we go.
Very easy to debunk, but yes, Wil Patterson.
So
Guys,
yeah,
thanks
you
for
can-
having me.
You can listen to our initial interview
Yeah.
with Wil/Scott about his book and his time in prison. We'll link that episode, and then also the story that you brought us last time as well.
Awesome.
As our now official favourite guest.
Yeah.
Official
stamped.
You're the only third timer.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, let's bring it
And
back
about to be fourth. Yeah.
About to be fourth.
All
right, thank you, guys.
Sit back on the couch and have a champagne.
I know. Yeah.
I'll do all the work.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.